Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Sarah Vantine here with Ted Ings. Today we have a very important topic, Ted, and it's going to be a lot of fun to unpack this.
Sarah, you're so right. We're really grateful to have Robert Wooden with us of Fixed Operations Intelligence. Robert, welcome to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Yeah, thanks, Ted. Thanks, Sarah. Good to see you.
Robert, a great colleague from our industry. And Robert, you're working on so many things. What a great what a great niche right now to be in fixed operations, now, but I mean,
Yeah,
you've been doing it your entire career. So
yeah.
it's not an overnight success.
No, it's the long haul, but it is nice to kind of see fixed operations side of the business come to the forefront instead of being kind of the back seat. Again, given the state of the industry today, they're really leaning on the fixed operations side of the house to cover things and keep things going. So it's nice. It's challenging, but it definitely there's opportunity out there for folks to excel.
Well, Robert, to kick things off, one of the exciting things that we're going to be talking about today is warranty uplift. And a lot of retailers are probably listening to this, and they're interested in this topic, but again, there's some pieces around this that they may not be so sure on how to execute or what's the best path forward. So, to kick things off, why is retail warranty reimbursement so important?
Well, for the dealers, obviously, the financial side of it is hugely important. That they're able to, collect a rate that allows them to, pay their people.
Mhm.
People need to get paid, and we all know that the cost of living is not going down; it goes up. So those employees are looking for better pay, better benefits. So having a parity of rate between your retail rate and your warranty rates helps the dealers to do that. Again, dealers that are profitable are better for the manufacturer. They have better facilities. They train their people. They have better equipment. And they're able to take care of their customers so that they retain those customers and keep them coming back and purchasing vehicles in the future. So there's that component as well. So it really is all something that helps everybody. And people don't really think this far into it, but if you go back many years ago, when the warranty rates were really low, a dealer would have to raise their door rate or their customer pay rate to make that offset, right? So now with that parity between the two, really the customers are benefiting because a dealer doesn't have to raise the rate that much higher to make up for it and make that profit. So it's helping to even the playing field a little bit.
And Robert, you take this task off the dealership's hands from that of the service manager or service director, who is busy doing a lot of other things uh, every single day. Talk to us about that and why it's important to have somebody focus like yourself on this who specializes in this.
Yeah, and that's a question we get quite often is, how come I can't just have my manager do it? And we all know that managers are very busy between, the employees, the customers, the factory. There's a lot of pressure on them to to keep things going every day. So to add one more task into their day is a lot to ask of them. But even at that, even if they have the capacity to do it, I always say, do they have the tools to do it? You wouldn't want your technicians to go out and tackle a job without the proper tools. And it's the same with warranty uplift. Your DMS is a great tool for a lot of things, but it's not designed to do this specific task. And that's what Fixed Ops Intel really does. When I started designing it, that was the original vision behind the software, is to do specifically that task of analyzing and finding the best group of ROs that yields the highest rates for the dealer, and making the process for us and our dealer clients that much smoother and faster. So those are a couple things that I would say are a benefit to the manager in the stores.
And Robert, you've been doing this for a long time. Tell us about that.
Yeah. Yeah, this is our 28th year of doing it. And really the genesis of Warranty Uplift and doing this whole thing started way back when we had a dealership. We built and moved to a new facility, and I applied the old way. We used to have to call around and get all the different rates from the stores, and I mailed it in, and I got denied. The factory just said, no, you're still a rural dealer. And at that point, my labor rate was $20 an hour less than anybody else's. And so I went through a process very similar to what today's retail rate process is in most states. And I went from being $20 below everybody to $10 ahead of everybody, and it kind of sparked people reaching out to me to do it. And then almost 30 years later, here it is. Kind of, I feel a little bit like a grandpa of this industry that seems like everybody wants to jump into nowadays.
Well, and Robert, you touched on, just again the expertise that you have in this area, and mentioned, sometimes the dealers at the beginning of the process may say, well, why can't I task, my service manager with this process? But there's a lot of elements that go into this. I mean, from a legality standpoint, from, understanding the differences in different states. And, right now in today's climate, there's a lot more, electric, hybrid vehicles that are on the road that have, maybe some different processes. So how does it affect, electric vehicles or hybrid vehicles specifically?
Yeah, that's a great question, Sarah. So today, we all know that electric vehicles are going to need less maintenance, in theory, right? So there's not oil changes and a lot of the stuff that we would normally do as maintenance. So that portion is going to impact fixed operations departments in the future. As far as the warranty side of it, we also know that those components, and especially if we want to talk about the battery packs themselves, are extremely expensive right now, and they'll come down in price, I'm assuming. But right now they can be tens of thousands of dollars. So if you look at the way that some of the manufacturers are trying to position themselves, is some of them have tried to say, we're not going to pay you a markup on that part because we're just going to give you a handling fee. Well, that's not legal if they're doing parity rate in their state. And then some of the manufacturers are actually trying to say that the customer does not own the battery pack, that the manufacturer still owns the battery pack. So there's a little bit of a legal wrangling that's happening now. So that's going to be interesting. But navigating through some of those pitfalls, you need somebody who has been doing it for a long time, has worked with all the manufacturers, and is doing this on a constant basis, because the landscape is changing every day, and you just have to keep on top of it.
So, Robert, you come in and you help the dealers determine if there are any opportunities, okay, in their warranty reimbursement on labor and parts. How do you go about doing that? And of course, the question is bound to come up, Robert. What's the dealer's investment to obtain your services to do that?
Yeah, good question. It always comes down to money, right? So the first thing I'd tell you is we always do the analysis for free, right? So we're going to get your data from your DMS company, and we're connected to all the major ones: CDK, Reynolds, DealerTrack, Techion, PBS, Automate. And so we'll do that ROI analysis for you. And we charge a flat fee. We don't charge a percentage of the uplift. We don't charge a contingency fee. You don't pay us anything for the next 12 months. You pay us one flat fee, so you know what your investment is. And often that investment is recouped within a month or less, depending on the volume of the store. So we're going to tell you up front what you're gonna get, and if it's worth the investment or not. And sometimes it's not. And if it's not, again, we have the data that we oftentimes can tell the dealer or tell the manager, here's the things that we're seeing in the way that you're billing or documenting or whatever it is that you need to modify, and maybe wait a month, two, three, whatever it is, and then we'll do another analysis, and maybe at that point you're ready to go, and then we'll make it happen. So that's how we do it.
And Robert, a lot of our fixed ops managers that are listening today, and general managers that are listening to this, maybe thinking, all right, 2026, there's a lot that I've got on my plate coming into it that I'm going to have to figure out. There's a lot of, questions around, parts. There's a lot of pieces on, how the customer landscape is going to be looking. Why should this be at the top of any fixed ops managers' 2026 priorities?
Yeah, again, you guys are hitting me with some good questions today. Um, you know, every year, obviously, you're going to look at forecasting for next year, and I've never been in a forecast meeting where they were going to go, let's make less money, right? It's always we need to make more. And again, with the cost of inflation, cost of everything rising, it's natural that rates are going to change. So, again, in that forecast meeting, they're going to look at this fixed ops director and say, you need to make, X percentage more than last year. The lowest hanging fruit is warranty uplift. And the reason I say that is because that money is just laying out there to be collected, and hiring us to do it, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, really, we do everything for you, and you literally sign a letter, and we're going to submit it for the manufacturer. So it's the easiest way to pick up additional net profit that you can do.
Robert,
And
that's
this is a
exactly
very
what's.
busy time of year for that. We go into this last quarter, and things really start to ramp up because those meetings are starting to happen.
I was going to say that's exactly the conversations that are happening right now that we're hearing, because the dealers are meeting with their fixed ops team and they're looking at next year. And you're right; they're saying, "Okay, here's where we need to be. How are we going to get there?" And you and I and Sarah all know that warranty seems to be increasing in performance or in importance with the complexity of vehicles that are out there. If you want to talk about that, because that's a huge chunk of income.
Yeah. Yeah, the vehicles are obviously getting more complex, and as we talked about before, the EV vehicles, even more so. So fixing those is more technical. It's more difficult. It can be sometimes a lot more time consuming and expensive, and it takes an experienced technician to do that, and a technician that's been well trained. So I go back to the original. One of the original questions is, why is it important to get that higher rate? It's so that you can invest in those people and have the trained, spend the money on the training and pay them well to do those jobs that are important. Um, they're important, they're expensive, sometimes they're a little bit dangerous. Working on these electric vehicles, it's not easy, and not everybody can do it. So we need to make sure that we're retaining those very skilled people and paying them well, and getting the new generation into this field as well, is very, very important.
And can I ask a follow up? You mentioned that when you filed for this the very first time for yourself, when you were in retail, you filed for it for that small dealership and you were declined by the manufacturer for whatever reason. You mentioned being too small.
Yeah.
I know as part of the process, we hear from a lot of dealers when they file on their own, okay, they get declined. And I imagine that's going to happen no matter who they file with. That's going to be part of the process. What happens at that point? Do you help the dealer in terms of how do they go and respond to the manufacturer? Take us through that, because I think that's also a very, very important point for our audience to hear.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great question. We do get quite often, a manager will call and say, I've applied two, three times. They keep denying me. And it's just that part of it comes down to process and experience, and knowing what is required. As far as the manufacturers declining, we don't get a ton of it. But I will tell you that the manufacturers have ramped up their resistance, and they're trying to find creative ways. I'll say that nicely, creative ways of rebutting a dealer's claim. So understanding how to do that, what the process is for not only the manufacturer but the state in which you are in is really important. And what we do is, once we submit for our clients, that's not where the relationship ends. Two things is, obviously, if that submission comes back and it's not successful, if it's something that we didn't do properly, we're going to do it. We're going to do it again, or for free. That's on us. But I can't tell you the last time that it's happened. It just doesn't happen too much. But the other thing is, if we need to make legal points back with the manufacturer, we draft those letters, and we submit those on behalf of the store, and walk them through that process. So yes, and then the other side of that is, they're going to have access to fixed ops intel for the next year, so they'll have access to that for 12 months. And what will happen a lot of times is the manufacturers now are, in certain states, are allowed to ask for additional documentation either prior to or after the original submission date. So again, you might have to, get another 60 days worth of documents, which could be literally 5,000-10,000 repair orders. Again, that's something that we can do electronically using fixed ops intel,
Wow.
that we can do within hours, which would take a manager weeks to do.
And I imagine when the manufacturer has these creative responses, I imagine that foils some dealers who take it upon themselves to do it with their own manager who doesn't have the experience in this volley back and forth, if you will, in how to go about it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's happening. A lot of the manufacturers, let's just say that the dealer submits for $200 an hour, and the manufacturer will come back and say, well, we'll give you 180. And the dealer might already be at 175, and they're like, well, let's take the $5 and let's not fight them. But on the other side, you just left $20 an hour on the table. That's a lot of money. And the manufacturers are counting on that, and they are actually being successful with it. And again, every store, it's their own personal decision what they do. And I never advocate for, battling with the manufacturer or anybody. It's not a good idea. But there are some points where you have to say, hey, no, I'm not going to accept that. And, let's negotiate. A lot of times the manufacturers want to negotiate a rate. That's up to you. Or, or if we need to go that legal route, that's an option as well.
Robert Wooden, everybody, he handles warranty uplift for dealers, helping them obtain retail rates for warranty repairs. Probably nothing more important that you can do that would impact the bottom line for 2026 and the revenue for your dealership as well. He is the expert at it. He's done it for 20 plus years. He knows the ins and outs. He knows his way around. Robert, if our audience wants to reach out to you, maybe they have questions. How would this work for our particular circumstance, our OEM, or for our group? Are you available to answer the questions if they reach out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. They can, you can Google warranty uplift. You can, fixed ops intel,
Okay.
warrantypart.com. That's been our website for 25 years. So if you Google us, just look for us, you'll find us. You can certainly call or email. If you call, it's going to be me you're going to be talking to. So please give us a shout. We'd love to talk to you and help you through that and answer the questions, whatever they are.
Robert Wood and everybody, warrantypart.com is the website. You can look them up on the web. And a lot of our dealers here at the Fix Ops Roundtable use Robert's services. So Robert, congratulations to you on the success you're having for our dealers and for yourself and for Fixed Ops Intel. And Sarah and I want to wish you and your family a very happy Thanksgiving next week.
Yeah. Thank you, Ted. Sarah, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. And we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Yeah, we'll see you back on the next show, and we'll have a lot to talk about in January. So, Robert Wooden, everybody, Fixed Operations Intelligence, here with us today at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.